And he left when he left WWE and the Attitude Era was still going on and things were still hardcore. Vince McMahon went back to doing wrestling. Why did he do that? He was doing Vince Russo style of stuff, but he was putting more and more of the wrestling back on TV, and you had more wrestlers having to get out with broken necks and broken legs and whatnot that were going to be out for 8 months to a year, some even longer. Edge I thought was never going to come back because Edge literally took a good 16 to 18 months off to try and rehab himself to get himself into the best shape possible.
Unfortunately, people look at people like Sid Vicious, for instance, and they say, "Oh my God, Sid, you've talked to Sid." I never interviewed Sid, but I talked to him on the phone. Sid Vicious was a big name. Okay, you're talking about broken legs. And here I am after being a fan of Sid for about 20 years, 15, 16 years. And Sid's talking to me on the phone about, I look at Sid as a guy who fought them all. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, fought them all. But speaking to Sid on the phone, what's Sid talking to me about? Sid's talking to me about how he doesn't want to be asked about his leg being broken because 15 years ago he was told that he'd never run again or he'd never walk again. That's what Sid got me. That's where being a fan of Sid got me for 15 or 16 years. It's just sad.
Oh, yeah, it is, and I mean, I know we got about another 27 minutes left here in the show, and unfortunately, all the available time that we have will be gone. But, I will say this, that, when you look at pro wrestling, one thing, and I'm going to advise people on this, and don't just do this with the wrestlers, do this with anyone who you're going to interview beforehand, before you go on the air. Oh, if it's going to be in emails or talks on the phone, always ask them what the things that they don't want to talk about.
Exactly. Amen, Bob. Hallelujah.
You always got to remember that end.
Shit. Always ask them shit that they don't want to talk about. Like when Romeo Roselli and me sat down for an interview, he wanted to be asked about what he liked to eat because he didn't want to talk about wrestling because he was asked the same question. I read in Miley Cyrus's book, and I spoke to Disney about it. Miley does not want to be asked the same stupid questions over and over and over again, like, oh, what's it like working with your dad? What's the difference between yourself and Hannah Montana? If you watch one episode of Hannah Montana, you know what the concept of the fucking show is. So why sit down after waiting a year to interview Miley Cyrus and ask her a stupid question? Why?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you on this one. This I gotta say, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not.
We're functioning on caffeine, ladies and gentlemen. We're functioning on caffeine here. We've been on here almost 3 hours.
Yeah, we've been doing this. I'd say about 3 hours now. About 3 hours. I mean, we got about another 25 minutes left here in the show, and if we decide to go with it. But I'll tell you, one of the biggest things that will
until the phone died.
Yeah, well, the big.
I don't know how much power I got left, but anyway.
Yeah, and I also do have a video for a little something here for a wrestling show that we did. Well, I got some about 2 different wrestling talk show personalities that I'll actually play here. But let's go over it here. I mean, you went through a time where someone was going out of their way to try to get rid of you and tried spreading a rumor about you.
Okay, who's that? Refresh my memory, because somebody will ever spread rumors about me because of what I've done in wrestling. But,
well, if you remember correctly, and I'll actually play this funny little bit so people can be entertained here, so we can loosen people up here.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, let me get it up here for you right now. Here, Here it is right here. We'll play this one. I know this will give you a good laugh.
The weekly top 40.
Oh my God.
Coming up this weekend on Rick Hendrickson and the Top 40 Countdown, we'll find out which one of your favorite songs has blown its way all the way to the top. The world of radio. After I unfailed to archive shows of the Dark Match, I was fired from producing all these different radio shows because I couldn't get my nose out of my own ass. So now I host this crappy Top 40 Countdown show. And let's not forget the fact that the Bizzle Show only had about 8 listeners. Yeah. And who can forget ThreeKingsRadio.com? Such a terrible show, yeah. I had to call up these 18 to 19-year-old children to co-host the show with King Firehawk because their unprofessionality enabled them to get guests on the show on a regular basis. $60 a month I charge to produce radio. Can you believe that? $60 a month. And then people wonder how come nobody wants to be my assistant. Don't forget to listen to the Bizzle Show. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't do that anymore because I couldn't get any listeners. On the way on the Top 40 Countdown with Rick Hendrickson, we'll find out what song is number 1, so don't go anywhere. I guarantee you, I'll blow you away. The countdown continues after this.
The weekly top 40.
Welcome back to the weekly Top 40 Countdown with your host, Rick Hendrickson. And I have a guest in the studio with me this weekend. Please give a warm welcome to a man who is extremely better looking than me, Jonathan Clarke. What's going on, Rick? I'm happy to be here this weekend. Top 40 is where it's at, as always. That's right, and I want to know just what's going on with you and those rumors about you quitting radio. What are you talking about, rumors, Rick? Rumors about me quitting radio? They are entirely false. I just had to come on your shit show, the Top 40 Countdown, to clear that up because I know what you're like, Rick. You'll always, take shots at me because undoubtedly I'm better than you at everything in life. And unquestionably, God spent a lot more time on me. It's kind of like that song from NSYNC that you play on a regular basis on this shit show. God spent a little more time on... But anyway... Yeah, those rumors are, entirely false. So, what's going on with your career right now? Everything, Rick. Everything and more that you would dream of doing but never will get the chance to do. Kind of like everybody else out there listening to your shit show right now, the Top 40 Countdown. And, by the way, Rick, I've already blown my way to the top. And I don't need to do it on a Top 40 chart either. I blow my way to the top every single night. Just ask the millions of women that I had the privilege of satisfying. And by the way, look at that hot producer that you have over there. Right after the show, I'm taking you out for dinner. Me and you at Wendy's somewhere, baby, it's on, Top 40 Countdown. You're here, you're producing this shit show for this fat ass sitting in the chair next to me. You are going to be taken on the ride of your life. You don't have the right to steer and gawk at my hot producer. Yes, I do, Rick. Just calm down. Why don't you try getting a new catchphrase? Why don't you try doing something like this? I'm Jonathan Clarke, and I'm the most extremely attractive man in all of internet radio. Can you say that? I'm Rick Hendrickson, and I'm... heartburn. Can we get some help for this guy? While Rick is there dying of heartburn. I'd like to remind all of you that You can listen to me on every radio station across the entire world. Top 40 heartburn. I'm Jonathan Clarke, and you've been listening to the Top 40 Countdown. God bless, have a wonderful weekend, and for Rick Hendrickson, who will never be as good-looking as me, I'd like to remind all of you that no matter how good you are, you'll never be as good as me. For the Top 40 Countdown, I'm Jonathan Clarke, and we'll see you next weekend.
The weekly top 40.
There you go.
Oh my God! I tell you that Rick. Yeah, he spread some rumors about me, and we kind of cleared that up. No, I didn't quit. That was probably about 7 years ago. That was
Yeah,
a long time ago, because that was when I used to go out with friends in the town that I lived in,